The Crusades were a bloody and turbulent period in history. For those who are unfamiliar, they were a series of religious wars between Christians and Muslims during the medieval period, orchestrated by the Catholic Church. The Crusades took place between 1096 and 1291. Their main purpose was to regain control of religious sites that were taken during the expansion of Islam by the Turks. Christians intended to regain control of sites that were sacred to both Muslims and Catholics, as well as to fight against paganism and heresy. Many lost their lives. But in 1291, the Crusades lost the city of Jerusalem and the city of Acre, and this marked their downfall. The Crusades did not necessarily fail, but their purpose failed to remain successful over the course of history. Today, Life's Biggest Questions asks, what would have happened if the Crusades did not fall? Hello and welcome back to LBQ. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know in those comments below a question you have always wanted to know the answer to. The Crusades was a long, turbulent period. So in order to understand what would have happened if the Crusades did not fall, I will first generally explain the state of Europe at the time of the Crusades. In 1096, Pope Urban II called for a war against the invading Turk armies after Byzantine Emperor Alexios asked for military aid in response to the expanding Turks. This was known as the First Crusade. At the time, the Turks were expanding their territory across Europe, and the Christians were determined to regain the control they had in the first few centuries after Christ. By 732 AD, Christians lost their strongholds in Egypt, Palestine, Syria, North Africa, Spain, much of Asia Minor, and southern France. Italy was also under threat from Muslim invasion. The First Crusade was successful for the Christians. They captured the holy city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem was sacred to Christians because it was the place where Jesus Christ ministered. He died and rose again in Jerusalem. Many churches exist there that celebrate the significance of Jerusalem to Christians, so it's only natural that the Crusaders would want control of it. But at the same time, Jerusalem was a Jewish city, something the Christians failed to recognize. Christians believed their religion had become more important than Judaism, even though their leader, Jesus Christ, was Jewish. When the city of Jerusalem was taken in 1099, Christian soldiers pillaged the city and massacred its civilians. They also killed every woman and child who was Muslim on the Temple Mount. They killed many Jews as well. The reputation of Christian soldiers was likened to barbarians from this point forward. Many Muslims tell the story to this day, and experts say it contributed to the growing hatred of Christians in the Muslim world. Some say it also may have influenced the Muslim extremists of today. The Crusaders lost the holy city of Jerusalem in 1187 to the Muslim empires under Saladin. The loss of Jerusalem and the fall of Acre marked pivotal turning points in the Crusades. Acre was a Crusader-controlled city and a major stronghold in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. For some time, Christians kept control of a fortress, engaged in some raids, but continued to fail. The Crusaders did not control any part of the Holy Land anymore. So then, what if the Crusades did not fail and the Christians kept control? For the time being, the Christians would have continued with their policy of conversion or execution, where whomever did not want to convert to Christianity would be executed. The Jewish population would have been depleted, and Judaism may not have been as widespread in Europe. Who knows how this could have affected history further down the line? Maybe World War II would have unfolded differently than it did. If the Crusades did not fall, it is likely that the Kingdom of Jerusalem would have endured many more wars between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. The city was, of course, sacred to all three religions, but Jews, Muslims, and Christians had occupied it. There would have been uprisings and millions more would have lost their lives over the course of history. One can assume that if the Christians had kept control, Christianity likely would have been more widespread as well, perhaps throughout the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. Remember, at the time, Turks were invading Christian-occupied territory. The Crusades were a response to the invasion. It is safe to say that Islam would not have been as prominent in the Middle East if the Crusades pushed onward and the Christians gained back control of their lost territories. The Christians could have also expanded further into Asia and Africa. The Middle East would cease to exist as we know it today. Furthermore, when the Mongolians invaded the Middle East, the Mongol invasion would have been fought against Christian Europeans rather than Muslims. The Crusades were a long period in history. It's difficult to say how history would have been affected if they had continued on. Please, if we missed anything, continue the discussion and let us know. What do you think would have happened if the Crusades did not fall? For now, I'm Charlotte Dobre, and you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. If you enjoyed that video and you found it informative, why not check out our playlist Biggest What Ifs? As always, make sure notifications are turned on by clicking the bell icon, and we'll see you in the next video.